Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Little taste of summertime as we kick off the month of October, but you want a big change? We've got it just in time for the weekend.
A man who admitted to killing 3 people in Madison County received his sentence earlier today.
Security remains high at a Louisville high school one day after a student shot and injured a classmate. Welcome to WKYT News at 4. Jennifer has the afternoon off. A beautiful day in the bluegrass. Take a look. This is a live look of downtown Lexington, but our warm, dry weather is about to come a thing of the past. A blast of chilly air is on its way into town. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is here now to let us know what to expect, but beautiful out there this afternoon.
Yeah, it really is, and it's hard to believe we're talking about November temperatures coming in a few days when I also have temperatures tomorrow that may flirt with 85 degrees in some areas for the second day of October. But change? Well, it's a good thing if you're going to change it for the better, I guess, right? Live sky cam, a mix of sun and clouds here on the east side of Lexington. We're continuing to fight a little bit of cloud cover. If you're out this evening, looking good, feeling good, 76 degrees at around 7 o'clock. Tonight, we're not going to be as chilly as we have been over the past couple of nights. By 11 o'clock, only into the low 60s. Live First Alert Defender has nothing across central and eastern Kentucky, though a little cloud cover beginning to billow up across the south. And now look to our west. Showers and thunderstorms are breaking out across the Mississippi River Valley. That is between the warm air and the downright wintertime air that is across parts of the Rockies and the Plain States. It is that system that is going to bring a major change to our overall weather pattern as we go into the weekend. Amber, I'm talking about showers and thunderstorms, summertime temperatures, November time temperatures, and the potential for a little frost out there as well. I don't know if I missed anything. If I did, we may throw it into the forecast coming up.
It has me just shaking my head, Chris. Thank you. A Madison County man who admitted to killing 3 people learned his sentence today. Matthew Denholm pled guilty to the 2010 murders of Sansaray Warford and Charles Walker. He also pled guilty to the 2011 murder of Zachary Flower. WKYT's Victor Puente has the details from the Madison County Courthouse. It's our top story at 4.
There were a lot of tears earlier today in the courtroom as Matthew Denholm was sentenced by 2 different judges for the murders of 3 people. The first of those murders happened in 2010 when Sansaray Warford and Charles Walker were killed, then buried along Tates Creek Road in Richmond. Police records show Denholm told police he had been hired to kill Walker and Warford just happened to be there. The third murder was in 2011 when Zachary Flower was shot inside of his apartment in Berea. Denholm also pleaded guilty to kidnapping, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, burglary, and assault. He received 3 sentences of life without the possibility of parole for 25 years. In court, Denholm offered an apology to the families of Warford and Walker. It was an apology they say they don't believe.
I want the Walker and the Warford families to know that I'll spend the rest of my life in shame and repentance for what I've done to you, your loved ones, and my own family.
But if I have the pencil and pen, I have to be honest with you. I would give you exactly what you gave them.
The Commonwealth's attorney said the case against the other man charged in Walker and Warford's death, Daniel Keene, is under grand jury review. In Madison County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Had Denholm gone to trial and lost, he would have been eligible for the death penalty. Security was high today at a Louisville high school one day after a shooting in a classroom involving 2 students. School officials say students operated on a normal schedule. Counselors were at the school to talk to students along with extra security. Police say a sophomore opened fire yesterday at Fern Creek High School, sending his 15-year-old classmate to the hospital. Police tracked down the alleged shooter to a nearby apartment. The school was put on lockdown and hundreds of students were evacuated from the building. Today, the school is operating on a reduced security level, meaning parent access is restricted, teachers' doors are locked, and students needed hall passes. A former UK basketball star arrested last month for allegedly shoplifting from an Apple store has entered into a substance abuse treatment program. Rex Chapman was arrested last month after police say he was caught shoplifting, then reselling $14,000 worth of items from from an Apple store in Arizona. The Herald Leader says Chapman is now at the Brook Hospital in Louisville. Sources say he is trying to break his addiction to Suboxone, a drug which helps wean people off of opiates. We are working on a number of other stories for you on WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick joins us now from the newsroom with a look at some of the news that's in progress. Hi, Sam.
Hey, Amber. It was a close call for a Central Kentucky woman. She was almost hit by a car while standing on her front porch. The Winchester woman was on her porch about 8:30 this morning when she looked down the street and saw a car coming in her direction. She tells us she ran inside her house and that the car only missed her by a few feet. The driver of the car had suffered a seizure and lost control of the car. No word yet on his condition. Coming up on WKYT News at 4:30, you'll hear from the woman who was almost hit. Police in Louisville say a child found dead in a park has been identified and was often in that area with his family. The Jefferson County Coroner's Office said the boy was 12-year-old Ray Allen Etheridge and that his family is homeless. The boy's body was found by someone on a footpath in the woods yesterday afternoon. Police say they have no reason to believe a family member was involved in the death, and they're still investigating. Coming up on WKYT News at 6, you'll hear from a cyclist who was in the park when the boy was found. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Amber, back to you.
Sam, thank you. Now to some stories making headlines across the nation at 4. We begin with breaking news out of Washington. Secret Service Director Julia Pearson, who has been criticized over the September 19th White House security breach, has resigned. That resignation comes after an incident involving Iraq War veteran Omar Gonzalez when he managed to slip over the fence past several layers of security and into the White House East Room with a knife. He was subdued by an off-duty agent. Lawmakers at a congressional hearing yesterday demanded to know how a breach of one of the most secure buildings in the world could have ever taken place.
I agree that mistakes were made and the proper protocols were not followed. It's unacceptable.
This afternoon, Omar Gonzalez pled not guilty to charges that he ran into the presidential mansion while carrying a knife. Gonzalez's lawyer entered the plea on his behalf in a proceeding today before a U.S. magistrate judge. Authorities are trying to track down family, friends, and anyone else who may have come in contact with a man in a Texas hospital with the Ebola virus. Federal health officials say the man arrived in Dallas from Liberia on September 20th, but they say no one on the plane was at risk because he had not shown symptoms at that point. Members of the Liberian community in the Dallas-Fort Worth area say they're not sure. Health officials say the man had gone to the hospital twice before health workers learned that he had been in Africa. U.S.-led warplanes bombed militant targets in Syria today as ISIS moved deeper into the Kurdish stronghold. Kurdish forces seized a border crossing and several villages from Islamic State fighters in northern Iraq. It is one of the biggest successes since U.S.-led forces began bombing the region. Turkey's government says it may send troops into Syria or Iraq and let allies use Turkish bases to attack militants.